You know, you're almost done your math class. It's been a lot of work, but it's paid off. Every new unit is like a new chance. At where this unit's gonna take you, but we're gonna do it together. You put a lot of work into this, and now it's paying off.
Hi class, welcome to Equations of Linear Relations lesson number 3. You've got Mr. Robinson here talking to you about the general form equation, which is this right here. Alright, we've been looking at the y equals mx plus b equation, and we're going to change things around so that we've got this equation where everything is going to be on the left side of the equation. A couple things about that. This general form tries to make these integers here and this one positive as well. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. We want to do some conversion. Hey, you know what? There's basically just two steps here. We get rid of the denominators and then we move the y over. Okay, well, in this first equation here where we've got y equals 5x minus 8, we don't have any denominators. All we need to do is move the y over the equal sign, so we minus both sides by y. So now we have 0 equals 5x minus y minus 8. So we've got 5x minus y minus 8 equals 0. Do we have it in this form, sometimes called standard form? Yes, we do. All right, let's take a look at letter B. Letter B, we've got this denominator here. We've got a 3 in the denominator. So what we can do is we can multiply everything by 3. That's going to get us to 3y equals 3 times 2/3 x plus 3 times 7. So we've got 3y equals 2x plus 21. Now we have 2x minus 3y plus 21 equals 0. And then this last one here, okay, we've got a 4 in the denominator and a 5 in the denominator. So we're going to look for the least common multiple. Well, we know that both 4 and 5 go into 20 evenly. So let's multiply everything by a 20. All right, so we're multiplying this by a 20, this by a 20, this by a 20 as well. That's going to give us 20y equals negative 5x plus 12. So in our standard form here, our general form, we are going to have 5x plus 20y minus 12 equals 0. And that's it. That's how easy it is. So when we have this general form, sometimes we want to say, hey, well, what is my slope and what is my y-intercept? It was easy before when we had the y equals mx plus b. Is it still easy now? Well, what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment to try class exercise number 2 and try to determine the slope and y-intercept of these equations. Okay, give it a go and then I'll help you out with it. Press pause now. We're back with class exercise number 2, and I hope that you figured out that to determine the slope and the y-intercept, you're going to have to put your equation back into y equals mx plus b. So what I want to do here is, because I have this equation with a bunch of 5's here, and I see that there's a negative 5 in front of that y, I'm going to divide everything by 5, and I'm also going to put the y on the other side of the equal sign. All right, when I divide everything by 5 and I move the y to the other side of the equal sign, I can isolate the y. So the slope is 2 over 5. The y-intercept is 5. All right, over here, did the same thing. I basically took the 2y, all right, outside the equation here, and now I have 2y equals negative 6 plus 15. I divide both sides by 2's. Now I have y equals negative 3x plus 15 over 2. That gives me a slope of negative 3 and a y-intercept of 15 over 2. All right, let's take a look at class exercise number 3. Class exercise number 3 adds another level of complication where they have these two lines here, but one has a k in it. They have the same y-intercept, and we need to determine the value of k. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to take this equation that we have everything for, we want to put the y onto the other side of the equal sign. That's going to help us get y equals mx plus b, and that'll help us find the y-intercept. So now we're here with the y on the outside. We've got 4y equals 3x plus 8. Now, what are you going to do? Well, can you transform 3x plus 8 equals 4y into something that has a y equals? If you do that, then you're able to find out what the y-intercept is. So you want to get to a place where you've got the y-intercept and what does it equal. Then you're going to take this equation, you're going to also put this in the form of y equals mx plus b, but you're going to have a k in it, and then you'll be able to find out what k equals. Why don't you give that a go right now? Press pause. We're back, and the first thing that you needed to do was to divide everything by 4 just to isolate a single y. We didn't want the 4y. Now we have that single y. We've switched our equation around, so now we have this mx plus b kind of form. So the 3/4 x becomes this, and 8 over 4 is basically just 2. We found that our y-intercept is 2. We take this equation over here, and we have to divide everything by k, and also we have to isolate the y. So we've moved the y over to the other side, and this is great because it's a negative ky. When we move it over to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes a positive k. We're basically adding positive ky to both sides of the equation. So now we have y equals 5 over kx minus 6 over k. It doesn't matter what our slope is because it didn't say that the slope was going to be the same. It's just the y-intercept is the same. So we have this and this equal the same. If they equal, we can make them equal, and we can put a 1 underneath the 2. It doesn't change the value. We can cross multiply. We get k equals -3. All right. Now let's move on here. We want to take a look at all these equations that are in general form, so they equal 0. And we want to see which of the following lines are perpendicular to this line right here. So now we're adding another level here where when we find the slope, we're going to be able to take a look at, well, what is the slope here? And what is the slope here? And are those slopes perpendicular? I'm going to do one with you, and then I'm going to have you press pause and try the other two. So let's take a look at this first one right here. We've got 6x plus 3y minus 1 equals 0. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to let's take these things and move them to the other side. They become negative or positive depending on what they are. We're going to get something like this, 3y equals -6x plus 1. We're just trying to get into the y equals mx plus b. All right, so now we want to divide everything by 3. That'll give us y equals -2x plus 1/3. All right, so the slope is -2. Well, the given line, which was right here, is 4x minus 2y plus 9 equals 0. So basically, we've got 4x plus 9 equals 2y. All right, so we're going to divide everything by 2. And so that means that our equation is y equals 2x plus 9 over 2. Okay, and the slope equals 2. So this first one here is not perpendicular. When we compare these, yes, it changes from a negative to a positive, but it does not become a reciprocal. So therefore, number 1 is a no. I want you to try number 2 and number 3. Press pause now. We're back, and what I've done here is I've taken our general equation I've put it into something more that looks like a y equals mx plus b, and this is by taking these values, putting them over to the other side, having it look like this, dividing everything by what's in front of the y. We get a slope of -1/2. We compare that to the slope of the given equation, and it is the negative reciprocal. So this one is a yes, it is perpendicular. This one over here is once again a yes, it is perpendicular. All right, now we can make things more and more complicated, as teachers often do. So what I want you to do next is write the equation of a line which is perpendicular to this, and we know it's perpendicular when it's the negative reciprocal of the slope, but has the same y-intercept as this. That means that you're going to have to put these general form questions into a y equals mx plus b. Okay, but also I want to see the answer in general form as well. Press pause now. All right, I've got this equation started off for you. The first thing I needed to do was to write this out and then start looking for the slope. So here's the equation. Then what I did is I moved it so that we have a y equals something x plus something, the y equals mx plus b form, and then I had to divide everything by 5, okay, and I got here y equals -2/5x plus 7/5. So the slope is -2/5. That's going to give me a perpendicular slope of 5/2. Okay, so that's the start. Now I take this other equation. I've got 2x plus y minus 6 equals 0 right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into my y equals mx plus b form. That'll give me y equals -2x plus 6. So the y-intercept is 6. All right, so the equation of the line is going to be y equals, and I've got my slope over here, 5/2x. I've got my y-intercept here, so plus 6. Now, if I want to put this in general form, this is really important, okay? So this could be, hey, let's multiply everything by 2, 2, and 2 to get rid of the denominators here. That'll give me 2y equals 2 times 5/2x plus 2 times 6, or 2y equals 5x plus 12. All right, now all I need to do is to get this into a situation where this y is over here, so I can subtract 2y from both sides. That's going to give me 5x minus 2y plus 12 equals 0. So that's my general form here. I'm going to underline that, and I'm going to underline that so that my teacher can see it. All right? Now we're just going to do one more exercise here. A student made the following statement about this particular equation. The line has a slope of 5. The line is parallel to 10x minus 4y plus 13 equals 0, and the line passes through -2, 1 point. So what I want you to do is to try to figure out which of the statements are true and which of the statements are false, and then you can tell me, hey, is it A, B, C, or D? A typical kind of question that you're going to find from a teacher on a test. I want you to give that a go, but I'll give you a little hint. The first thing that you want to do is, if you're talking about a slope, you're going to have to put this into y equals mx plus b form. All right, if you're talking about something that's parallel, then the slope has to be the same, and if it passes through 2, 1, all right, you're going to have to be able to put these points in and that the statement is true. Press pause now. We're back with the answer to this one. The first thing to do would be to find the slope and the y-intercept of this equation right here. We found that the slope was 5/2, the y-intercept is 6. So if the statement 1 asks for a slope of 5, it is false. Number 2, though, is true, because this equation over here, when we put it into y equals mx plus b form, we find that the slope is 5/2, which is the same as the slope over here. And then statement number 3, we have this point over here. So what we can do is we can put the 1 into where the y is, we can put the -2 into where the x is, and they both equal 2. So they're both equal to each other. Statement 3 is true, so that means that we want to circle letter C. And that is it for general form equation, Ax plus By plus C equals 0. We'll see you next class.